Welcome to Business Brains and the Bottom Line podcast. My name is Paul DiLiegro, your host today, and my guest today is Dane DiLiegro. Welcome to the show, Dane.
You've pronounced that name before.
I think so. I just a few times. So obviously, you guys know we're related. This is my nephew, Dane, and he has just come out in the movie Prey, and he played the Predator. So congratulations, Dane.
Thank you. It's been unbelievable. It's been crazy.
I can't even imagine. I mean, we'll get back. I guess we'll start out with that. I mean, we've been, you moved to LA a couple of years ago, and we'll talk about your plight there. But man, you have received so much positive press. I've read articles in the LA Times, the New York Times, the Boston Globe. The movie's only been out for a week and a half, 2 weeks, right? So what's going on? Tell me about it.
I don't know. We shot this thing June. Well, I shot this thing June through September last year up in Calgary. I think they started maybe a month before. They were there since like March or something like that. But yeah, we shot this movie up in outside of Calgary last summer. This time it was June through September for me, and there wasn't even a title. The working title was Skulls. We didn't even know what it was called.
So yeah, I was going to say, did you know this was a Predator movie when you got signed up?
Well, the story kind of goes before that. I got an Instagram message from a guy named Alec Gillis, who runs ADI, which is Amalgamated Dynamics, and he said, "Hey, they're a creature shop here in Hollywood, and hey, we're doing this project up in Canada. Can you come in for the design pitch of this character we're doing?" Sure. Okay. So whatever. So I go there and I see the Predator costume from the last movie out on the table.
Right.
And I see a 3D printed iteration of a gross, disgusting kind of a Predator. He's not. What the heck is that? And I'm thinking, oh my God, this is Predator. And I was like, oh my God, wow, this is huge. So the director, Dan Trachtenberg, the DP, the director of photography, Jeff Cutter, Marty Ewing, the producer, came to the studio, and Alec had told me he wanted a balletic svelteness for this character. And I'm thinking, okay.
What the hell is that?
Yeah, that was exactly what I was thinking. What the hell is that? And then I realized it was a Predator. So I'm thinking like balletic svelteness, like a feline, like a panther, smooth moving. Okay. So, they show up, I put the suit on, put the head on. I can't see anything of the head. It's just plastic over my face.
Yeah.
And they drilled 2 holes so I could kind of see out of, and I ran through the parking lot. I ran through the shop. I jumped up on a table in the shop. I'm doing my movements, and yeah. And then at the end, I realized they haven't cast anyone for this role yet. So I told them, please, I would do anything for this role. I would die for this character to be a Predator. And long story short, cutting out a lot of stuff. I ended up being, as Dan likes to say, the only guy that could pull this job off. And, it just worked out, miracles and opportunity. And
timing.
Timing. I'm the Predator. So it's crazy.
And they can't ever take that away from you, right? I mean, that's for the rest of your life.
No.
You'll be
Yeah, once you become a Predator, you are a Predator forever. So it's
How many Predators are there, by the way?
Well, there were 4. This is the fifth one. I don't know, maybe 3. This is the first. Well, Kevin Peter Hall did the first 2. The late Kevin Peter Hall, one of the best to ever do it. But this is the first Predator movie since the first one that there's only one Predator in the film. So it was kind of cool for me because all the focus was on the character that I got to portray. Total spotlight in terms of monsters. So that was pretty interesting.
Yeah. So I watched the movie. Obviously, I'm a little biased. You're my nephew, so anything you do is going to be great to me. But I try to look at it objectively. It was a great story, I thought, and the reviews kind of bear that out, right?
Yeah, it's interesting. It's the word I like to use for this movie is that it's fresh. So it is a Predator movie, but it's not really a Predator movie. It's a period piece It's a period piece adventure movie with some sci-fi and horror mixed in.
Yeah.
They're just there just happens to be a predator in this
Right.
film. It's a story about Naru, the Comanche female who wants to be a warrior, and everyone's saying no, you can't. She's saying yes, I can, and the story is really about her.
Yeah.
I just happen to be there. That's all. It's not really
Yeah.
anything about my story or my origin or anything like that.
Sure.
I just happen to, it's my character's first time on Earth. So it's also exploring how I'm kind of working my way through the food chain on Earth, and kind of going through that. I'm always looking for the bigger, better hunt for me. I'm a trophy
Yeah.
hunter, essentially. So,
Yeah. Well, cool. So what I want to do now, I want to back up a little bit. So you played professional basketball in Italy. So you used to be in front of a crowd. And from, I know there's a few things you used to do with something called Adventure Mondays,
yeah.
right? And then you wanted to start your own cooking show. So you've had some aspirations to be in front of the camera in the past. Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, for me, even through when I was in college at University of New Hampshire, what do I want to do?
Yeah.
It's time to become an adult. What do and I majored in business and tourism at New Hampshire. I wanted to open up a chain of surfboard rental shops in Waikiki, Hawaii, and then I realized someone else thought of that before me. So, obviously, I was under full athletic scholarship for basketball there. And when I graduated, second all-time leading rebounder in school history. I started all 4 years Division I program. Hey, you can go play pro. Great. I don't have to figure out a real job yet. Awesome.
Yep.
So I went and I was technically in the NBA draft in 2011. Didn't get drafted. So I went off to Italy to play, and I played well. And things were flowing. I ended up, I played 7 years in Italy. I played a year in Israel, and I loved it. But basketball, basketball as a girl that I dated for 27 years, knowing that I would never get married to her. As an
Yeah.
athlete, what you do is finite. Unless you're playing ping pong or billiards,
Yeah.
every athlete at some points hangs up the jersey and walks off into the bright light, and it's all over.
Yeah. Well,
So,
you blew out your ACL near the end of your career too, right? So that I'm sure that helped.
middle.
Was it middle?
Yeah,
Okay.
I was in Israel at the time, and yeah, I tore my ACL in the second game of the season against Jerusalem. But I came back. I played 3 more years. I actually had the best season of my life after that happened. I went back and played in Siena in Tuscany, and I averaged like 13 and 11 that season. But towards the end, then the question comes up again. Well, what am I going to do?
Yeah.
Unless I'm in the 1% of athletes who don't have to work when they retire, I got to figure something out. And
Yeah.
I was really into cooking. I was really into culinary arts, travel, and the idea in the summer of 2014 came upon maybe culinary travel, television, unscripted television. I could host a culinary travel television TV show. That's what I want to do. Okay, so Ross's friend, kind of for the listener, Ross is my brother, your other nephew. Our mutual friend Steven, who lives out here in Los Angeles, was helping me find an outlet, find producers to kind of pitch my. I'm a professional basketball player. I do a lot of cooking. I have an interesting story. I'm big. I'm loud. I'm a character. Let's see what happens. And just for the longest time, I was working on that. And we took meetings, and they said, "You're not famous enough. There's nothing on you on the internet." So I thought, well, my day off is Monday during the season, and I'm putting stuff on my Snapchat and Instagram story anyway of my adventures. Italy's easy because it shoots itself. It's beautiful. It's amazing. So you don't really, there's not like, you don't have to think through these shots very much because it's already incredible to people. And my Instagram stories, I was doing Adventure Monday, was very popular, and people were saying, why don't you take this more professional? So I bought a very expensive camera, and I taught myself how to edit, and I got a drone. So I kind of made this amalgamation of drone photography and vlog style video shot with like a Sony A7 with a real microphone. And I would just go into the woods in Italy and get lost. And I would go in a direction and I would just figure it out. And I would find restaurants and I would meet people and I'd walk into the restaurant and I would play big dumb foreigner and I'd say, hey, can I go in your kitchen in Italy? Yeah, go in the kitchen. Great. This is art. Let's show you what's going on here.
Yeah.
America, they don't let you do that. But
Right.
because, big dumb foreigner, come on in. Let me show, and I'm talking to the chef, my grandma, all in Italian, my grandma, taught me this way to crisp pancetta, or, this is how you do it. And like, I can get away with it because I was a basketball player. I was big,
Right.
I was silly, and I was getting content that other people.
Yeah. No, I noticed that you talked your way into every kitchen. And they were happy to do it too, by the way.
Yeah, yeah. Well, in America, there's health codes. Don't come in here. You're not allowed. Wait, why are you in the kitchen? Italy, they're like, no, please. They're so welcoming. Come on in. And they want to show you. It's like there's a disconnect between chef and diner here in America, unless you have an open air style kitchen. And in Italy, it's like these people there's so much pride. They want to show their art that they're making. And I exploited that. And Adventure Monday was just a way for me to create content and put it on YouTube. It was essentially for producers to see when I was pitching my culinary travel TV show.
Nice. So you do that, you try to get your cooking show, you decide that I know there was a couple year trend. Correct me if I'm wrong here. I know there's a couple year transition where you did do a little acting, but you were still playing basketball. Is that correct? Maybe 1 year overlap? Or am I wrong on that one?
I had auditioned for some things through Boston Casting, but nothing came about. No.
Okay.
In the summer of 2019, 3 years ago, I was home training for the next season in Boston. I was home in Boston training for the next season, and I got a phone call from Boston Casting, and they said, "Hey, we need you. We're shooting this movie called Free Guy. We need a stand-in." And I said, "What the hell is a stand-in?" And they say, when the actual actor is not on camera, you stand there so they can set up lights and figure out, the setup and everything. Oh, great, sure. So I go down set. They never use me, and the stunt coordinator came up to me and said, "You'd be a great creature actor." A what? Creature actor? Like, there's guys who play monsters in movies, and it's terrible, horrible, uncomfortable work, and you have to be high endurance. It's claustrophobic. And you can't go to the bathroom, and it's 150 degrees inside the suit.
But that was actually one of my questions, by the way, was how do you go to the bathroom in the Predator uniform? But
we'll get to that.
We'll get to that in a little bit.
So long story short, I was like, oh, wow. I was going to Los Angeles the next week to pitch another travel show. And while I was there, I met up with some producers and film and television people. And, long story short, I ended up booking a Netflix show 2 weeks later. And I found, a stunt agent, and she was like, if you want to do this full time, you got to move here. So I figured, okay, I'll get an apartment for 3 months and see what happens. And I went to Korea to shoot this Netflix show for a month. It's called Sweet Home. I played this character called Muscle Monster. And I'm still in this apartment today, as I'm in the same apartment 3 years later. And now I'm the Predator. So it's been a crazy turn of events.
Yeah, it's been a good run. You've only been out there for what, 2-3 years now?
Yeah, August 9th was 3 years. So
congratulations.
Thank you.
So what else you got coming up that you can talk about, by the way? I know there's a lot of NDA stuff going on here, but
well, I mean, it's out there that I shot a Marvel movie that's coming out. We completed that a few months ago. That's all I can say about that. And I was shooting a Lucasfilm project a couple weeks ago, and my shooting days are done now. But
okay,
that's it. That's all. I can't tell you what they are. I can't tell you about who I'm playing or the plot of this story. But those won't be out until 2023, 2024, maybe. I'm not sure. And then I have another movie coming out called Monsters of California, which is directed by Tom DeLonge, who was the lead singer of Blink-182. I'm not sure when that comes out, but we'll see what happens. But other than that, not much happening here.
Yeah. So now that the initial wave of, excitement of the movie, has it slowed down for you a little bit with interviews and all that, or how is that going?
It's still going pretty good. Today I had a meeting. I also did an interview with Men's Health earlier today. I think I'm going to New York next week or the week after to do some stuff. The press has been crazy. They sent us to Comic-Con. We did a press junket day. That was insane.
Yeah.
It was like
So
10 hours straight of press.
I learned a little bit about this creature acting. It's got like a cult following. Am I kind of online on that?
Yeah.
What's your take on that? Because I didn't know anything about this until this movie came out, but people started telling me about it.
Well, a lot of people don't realize that there's a guy in there.
Right.
And, you know, the term creature actor is interesting to me. Yes, I guess technically I am a creature actor because traditionally I portray non-human characters, but I like to think that I'm an actor.
Yeah.
I also don't like to pigeonhole myself
Yeah.
to say that I'm a creature actor. I only play creature. No, I can play humans. I can be a doctor. I can be a lawyer. I can be a mercenary, a soldier, whatever. I don't need to be a bad guy. I've never played a good guy before. I would love to. Um, um, I think my kill count on screen is like 40. I've killed 40 people on screen already.
Good job.
Thank
That's
you.
impressive.
But no, I mean, yes, there are creature actors are typically people who specialize in movement, nonverbal communication. A lot of times your character doesn't speak, so you have to tell a story without words.
Right.
And that can be a bit of a challenge. But I again, I don't like to pigeonhole myself and say that I am a creature actor because then people are like, oh, well, he can't act. He's a performer.
Yeah.
But that's not the case. I study acting just like any other actor does.
Yeah. Well, you'll get your break. You're being tenacious about it, and I have total faith that you're gonna get your break to show your face. You're a good-looking guy. And of course, that's my unbiased opinion.
Yeah. Thanks, Dane Di Liegro, for that.
Yeah.
And Dora and everyone. But say it louder. Let Grandma hear that so she can bring some
well, for those of you
down on us.
For those who know my family, I think you look so much like my father, your grandfather.
Well, I don't want to cause any issues between my brother and my sister, but I think I was also his favorite.
I will say this: like any grandparent, you love all your children, but with you were such a character. And I got a funny story about you in a minute. You were such a character. My father, every time he'd be around, he'd just shake his head and go, that Dane's just a hot ticket. I mean, you made him laugh, just like you made all of us laugh. You were a character as a kid. So now you got me outside. I got one funny story. You threw me under the wheels of the bus with your mother. So we're at Auntie Rose's house having one of the holidays, Christmas, Easter, whatever it was. And you're acting up as usual. And usually you'd get reprimanded like 10 times during the meal, right? Acting up this and that. So your mother takes you in the other room, and I hear her like, reprimanding you, blah, 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 blah. And your comment to her was, well, Uncle Paul thinks it's funny. And like, not the best answer you could go. So now you got your mother mad at me. I'm like, hey, look, I'm the uncle. I'm not the parent,
Yeah.
My job is to not like, he's entertainment to me, but no, to answer your question.
You and Uncle Jeffrey used to egg me on all the time.
Of course we did. Yeah. That was our job as uncles. But no, my father thought you were crazy. He loved you. And
I remember we used to go up to the cottage in it wasn't Leominster,
Pepperell.
was it? Pepperell. And I remember we had this fishing rod and we were trying to catch a frog with the fishing rod. I don't know why.
Yeah.
And I threw a stick at the frog and it swam away, and he got so mad at me. He was so mad at me.
Well, that was his parenting style, by the way, just so you know.
Well, when your father's a meat cutter, it's
he's Italian and he liked having knives in his hands. Do you need to know any more than that?
He was a tough, and he loved boxing. He's a tough individual.
Loved to fight. The last fist fight he had, he was 65 years old.
I believe it.
That's a true story.
Really?
Yeah.
What was the story? My dad told me a story about one time at UNH. You guys went up there to watch a game, and he tried to fight the referee.
Yeah, he went after the head coach of Northeastern. I was 14. I remember that. I was 14 years old, and they called a foul on your father. They called an offensive foul on your father. The guy pulled him down on him. It was a total, bad call, and
Yeah.
it was a tight game. And during the last couple of minutes, I see my father take off his coat.
Yeah.
He goes, "Hold
Calmly.
this." Yeah, takes off his glasses, handed me. So I go, "Dad, what are you doing?" I was a kid. I was 14 years old. He looks
Yeah.
at me and goes, "Shut up." I go, "Okay." As soon as the buzzer goes off, he runs right across the floor, goes after the head coach of I think it was Northeastern or BU. I think it was Northeastern. Anyway,
Okay.
it took like a couple of cops to pull my father off the coach, and you know,
I definitely get myself in trouble sometimes, so I think that's the Dane Di Liegro in me coming out
yeah, we all
sometimes.
we
Not that I
all
try to fight people, but I definitely have
we have we have
a
we have
complex.
we've been known to have a little bit of a temper. So I mean, that's just
Italians.
yeah, the tan side. Yeah, like I said,
Yeah.
So, well, hey, I'm sure all the people out there would love to hear a lot of our family stories, but I do want to talk about the role itself. I mean, I can't imagine being in that suit for like 8 hours a day. And how demanding was that for you? Like, I think I read something we had to lose weight for this role, and tell me,
I had to shed 25 pounds for this character. They wanted a lean, dynamic, animalistic, primal, feral. Feral was one of the big keywords for this character.
okay,
Um, Dan, our director, specifically asked me. He told me, "Do not replicate Kevin Peter Hall.
right,
We're not. We do not want that 1987 WWF wrestler standoff, slow, lumbering,
yeah,
whatever." And they want a dynamic animal that is in tune with the forest and moves instinctually and is very, ferocious and wild. Um, and I'm great that I get to create my own thing here. This is
yeah,
giving me a high creative ceiling. I don't have to replicate Kevin Peter Hall.
right.
So,
I think that was a
um,
good move, by the way, right?
yeah, every other movie, you look at all the other movies, they just try to replicate what Kevin Peter Hall did, and
Right,
it takes away, there's no surprise there because
right,
the thing that gave the first movie its magic was, the Predator kind of had these onion layers of reveal, right? So in the beginning, you only see the Predator vision, then you're like, okay, this is the Predator. Then you see the Predator cloaked, and you go, oh crap, wow, this is the Predator, amazing. Then he loses his cloak. He has the biomask on. You go, oh, here he is. This is the Predator. Then at the end of the movie, he takes the mask off. Okay, now here's the Predator. So there are these series of reveals that you're getting throughout the movie, and the audience is getting surprise, surprise, surprise. Wow, this is it. This is it. This is it. Oh my God, this is it. And then the other movies just try to replicate that. There's no more surprise. You've
yeah,
done it before. So with this, this is a fresh take on a Predator while still staying true to the traditional, Predator characteristics in some aspect. I like to say, if the other Predators from the other movie, are live in a condo in New York, this guy is from down under in Australia. He's just a different breed. He's not like the other guys. He's very different. But
so
yeah,
you used your own artistic kind of interpretation of this versus them telling you, hey, you've got to do it this way, and this is the only way you've got to do it.
yeah. I mean, Dan and the guys at ADI kind of guided me through what they wanted. There were very specific things that they wanted. There were very specific things that they didn't want. So with me, I had a lot of freedom artistically, but there were parameters I had to stay within in terms of what they wanted. So that once we kind of worked that out, and going into the movie, it wasn't perfect. We didn't know exactly how everything was going to work, so it kind of evolved as the movie went on, and it worked out. It worked out pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, the reviews have been great. I mean, everything I've read is, I mean, I
Yeah,
think, and this could hopefully this is your big break, Dane. I mean, I'm hoping that, yeah,
yeah. Let's see. Who knows what's going to happen? But it's the press has been crazy. Obviously, 92% or 93% on Rotten Tomatoes.
yep,
Um, it's obviously my face isn't shown. I don't have lines, but it's a big, iconic, badass character, and I'm very fortunate and humbled to have been, you know, kind
Yeah.
of handed the keys to the castle of this role.
Yeah. And you'll get your break. I know that you're working hard. You're a great networker. You're great at promoting yourself. And you are getting your face out there. You know, I seen some red carpet things you're doing that you are getting your face out there. And I think you're doing so I look at you right now as a salesman with one product, and
Myself.
that's you. And no one, you can't depend on anyone else to promote you but you. And
Well,
I think you're doing a good job at that.
I figure, you know, if I don't believe it, then no one else will, right?
Yeah.
So it's up to me. No one, well, maybe there are a few people now, but I have to operate under the impression that no one is bought into the Dane system right now. It's up
Right.
to me to kind of show them what Dane is capable of, what Dane can do. I'm speaking myself in the third person
Sure.
because
No, I got you.
I'm kind of dehumanizing my brand essentially. But um and you know, it really just boils down to me being my number one advocate, me being my number one salesman. So if you know, if you equate my career to like a rowboat, if I'm not rowing the boat, it's not going to go anywhere.
Yeah.
That's any entrepreneur because
Yeah.
you know, you sign a basketball contract, you know exactly what you have to do for 10 months. You can set on cruise control and you can just go. I'm now rowing a boat. Once my next job, once my last job is done, it's up to me to get the job.
Yeah. And you know how it works in life in general and sports with coaches. Once a few people take a shine to you and like you,
Yeah, and
that'll
kind
that'll
of
steam.
spreads.
So
This, you know, I this week, you know, the movie came out 2 weeks ago. This is the week I refer to as the first week of the rest of my career.
yeah,
So, the movie's very hot right now. Everyone's talking about it. IMDb Pro, IMDb is the Internet Movie Database website, which is where everyone goes to look up movies and such. Has a star meter that comes out every week, and you know, it's the top actors in Hollywood in terms of people who are clicking on them and what their movie is doing and blah blah blah. Typically, I'm in like the 5,000 range. I'm in one of the top 5,000 actors in the world or whatever. 2 weeks ago, I was at 1,500, which is
big
a
jump.
very huge. I mean, that's a very very low number. That's very good. This week, I'm number 10.
Oh wow,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
awesome.
It's huge. It's monumental. So it's up to me right now to row my boat and start sending emails to agencies and management firms and just get on the horse. The iron is hot right now, and I have something to chew on. I have something to talk about. I have some press to show. So I'm just, you know, sending out emails and trying to get in touch with people and trying to network.
Yeah, you're not resting on your laurels. I like that.
No,
Good attitude.
I have to. I have a. This is the beginning. Now I'm at ground zero. Before
Right,
I was below. Now I'm starting from scratch. You know,
right.
it's like Coach Farias, my high school coach, Bob Farias. Always we would win during the regular season, and we were always good during the regular season. We always went undefeated, and we'd come in after a regular season win, and he'd say, "What the hell are you doing?" And we look around like, "What?" He said, "You haven't won a damn thing. We haven't won a damn thing." He's right. The championship's our goal. Why are we celebrating right now? We haven't won anything. We're
Right.
just one step closer, but we're not there. So yeah, maybe I'm a step closer, but I haven't won anything. I have nothing. You know, this movie, this is unbelievable and incredible, and I'm humbled and honored to be a part of it. But you know, I haven't arrived. I'm not there. I'm not. I have a lot of work to do. I'm still a student of the game. I still have a lot of acting classes to go to. You know, I need to put myself in a position to be set up for opportunities, and I'm working hard at that. And you know, it's tougher. The older you get, the less people you have looking after you in terms of that. So it's really up to you to kind of steer your own vessel, really.
Yeah. Well, you're still a young guy and you're in great shape. So I think you know, I have total faith in you, Dan. I absolutely believe you're going to make it big, and because no one's going to outwork you. I know that.
Well, that's all I have, right? Because I was never the most talented guy in the gym. My job was to outwork everybody. So that's what to make up for my lack of talent, I need to put extra hard work into
Yeah.
whatever I do. That's kind of like, you know, bringing an athlete's mentality into acting.
Hey, Dane, you know, one thing I did want to mention to you, and I talked to your father about this, is, you know, the LA and Hollywood lifestyle can eat some people up.
Yeah, I've seen
And the
it.
one thing, and I know this about you, is you don't drink and you don't do drugs. And I think because you're such a fitness buff, I got to say I'm proud of you for that, because that's not easy being around the people you're around right now. I'm sure you go to parties and bars and everyone's drinking and doing drugs. I mean, but you've always been that way though, correct? I mean, you've never really liked it.
Well, yeah, that's right. I mean, in our household, we never really had alcohol. We never hosted parties or anything. But yeah, you're right. So I personally, I just don't like alcohol. I tried to drink through college. I never enjoyed it. And then when I graduated from college, I was like, why am I faking this? Why, I don't like it. It's expensive and it's not good for you. I'm gaining nothing here.
Yeah,
And my theory is alcohol is poison. What happens when you drink too much alcohol? Your body rejects it.
yeah,
It's poison and it ages you. And a lot of people don't think, I am the age that I am. They think I'm younger, and I kind of tie that to my lack of drinking. Now, in terms of Hollywood, there's a lot of, you see a lot of Peru's finest,
yeah.
the Peruvian special going around parties. It just doesn't, I don't need that. I know how to have fun without it. And it's a situation where I don't need any stuff. Now, you put a calzone in front of me. Now we're talking
Well,
different.
yeah. So
My
we could have gone
discipline.
on for hours about your eating habits. I mean,
Yeah.
you're a huge eater.
Well, food is my drug. Cooking's
Yeah,
my drug. So that's
right.
kind of I have no problem spending money on food. I just the whole drugs thing, and I also find a lot of people that do drugs need that rush. They need that
Yeah,
excitement. Me, when I played basketball, I was in front of, thousands of people playing. That's a drug right there.
yeah.
And I was
No
completely
question.
content with you know, with that. That was my rush. Now when I'm in front of the camera, that's my rush. So, when it comes to drugs and alcohol, the only thing that kind of transcends me into that euphoric state is working, being on camera. So there's a lot of times I'll be at a bar and I'll just, gosh, I wish I was working right now,
Yeah,
which sounds ridiculous, but
yeah, yeah.
and it's
No,
tough.
it's funny that, and if when I was younger, if I'd go out and decide, yeah, I don't want to drink tonight, wouldn't drink, and I'd see how stupid people acted, I would say to myself, I know that's me, you know?
Yeah, and it's great. I get to wake up hydrated. Everyone else is hungover. So
Yep.
it's interesting, and also here in LA, you'll be at a party and people, oh, here, have a drink. No, I'm not drinking. Really? No, I don't drink. You don't drink? What happened?
Yeah.
Really, something happened? No, I just don't like alcohol. Nothing happened. They people think I have like a family history of drinking, or it got out of control for me. No, I just don't.
Just a personal preference.
Yeah, so people don't like mayonnaise. I just don't like alcohol. Same idea.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
No,
that's
I have more respect to you for that than, succumbing to the pressures, right? That's what I mean about your discipline, right? You're a pretty disciplined guy. And so
yeah.
and I don't see, I could be dead wrong. Um, I hope I'm correct that I don't ever see you kind of going down that path. I just, knowing what I know about you.
Unless someone has Rice Krispie treats or something down that path, then I'll
Yeah.
go. That's
Yeah.
my
Eat
favorite
that
food.
along the way. So,
Yeah, 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 yeah. But no, it's people think, oh, it's cool to drink. It's they're in social situations. I think it's cool not to drink,
yeah.
not be affected by anyone else. So
Good attitude.
yeah,
It's the way you got to think. Well, you're doing a good job at it. So that's why I think you're on the right track. You're focusing on your career, you're staying in shape, you're networking your rear end off, and you're staying mentally and physically sharp. That's what you got to do.
yeah. Just trying to emulate the right thing to do. That's all.
Yep.
You keep your head down, keep your nose clean, and work hard. That's pretty much it.
There you go. So what's next for you as far as just your body? You're gaining your weight back. What's physically, how you doing after all that?
I'm pretty back. I still have some neck damage because that head I wore was pretty heavy and it was pretty tough on my neck. But I mean, I'm pretty much right where I need to be right now. I'm about 245 pounds.
That
Um,
was your playing weight, right? When you roughly,
250, 252 was my playing weight. I don't need to be that heavy. There's no point. It's
yeah.
just too
No, I
much.
completely agree.
I have less muscle than when I played. right now. I don't need, the name of the game for acting is kind of skinny strong in terms of playing
Yep.
non-human characters. But no, I feel good. I'm just doing a lot of yoga, a lot of stretching. This week I'm not working out as much just because I'm behind my computer and I need to just hammer away at everything I'm doing right now. But I'll get back into it. And yeah, it's been crazy. It's different now whereas during basketball you just train super hard all the time during the off season and then you train just to maintain during the season. But I kind of train like a boxer now. I know if I have a fight coming up or a show, I train for that role. And if it's a big show, if it's a big
Yeah.
role where I have to do, lose or gain, then I will really get ahead of that, kind of months
Yeah.
in advance. But yeah.
I've always said, fitness wise, keeping yourself within striking distance of your where you want to be is always a smart thing. It's like if you're 100 pounds overweight and you say, okay, I'm going to lose 100, that's a pretty big gap versus, hey, I got to lose 10 pounds, 15 pounds.
Yeah. There's it could go both ways. If I have to, I can probably swing 30 pounds plus or minus. So
Really?
if I had to get down to 230, I think within 2 months I could do that. If I had to get up to like 260, I think I could do that as well. It just take time, and the ultimate that's just the name of the game of being an actor. So that's just part of it.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Well, Dan, I think I've covered a lot of subjects today. I want to thank you for being on. Any last words for the audience out there that you'd
Uh,
like to share?
I don't know. I would say I forget what the word is in Japanese. There's a Japanese word. Um, it's the meaning of the word is the reason that gets you out of bed in the morning. And if you don't have one of those, if you don't have a reason that gets you out of bed in the morning, get one. Figure it
Yeah.
out.
Having a purpose. I completely agree. It's, one of the things about, you're not there yet, but as you get older, when people retire, you hear a lot of these people that retire and like die after they retire because they don't have a purpose. They don't have,
Yeah.
you got to have things, you got to have interest in your life. I don't care what it is, whether it's working out, woodworking, golf, something.
Yeah. Whatever it
Branching.
is, just have that purpose. For me, it's competition. So I think about all the people that want what I want, and what are they doing right now in this moment?
Yep.
Excuse me. So when I'm lying in bed, I think about the people that I'm in competition with. Well, are they up? Are they awake doing something right now? Well, I need to do that. I need to beat every day is my opportunity to beat out the people that want what I want.
Yep.
So I need to work harder than them. I need to grind harder than they are grinding, and it's up to me.
Yep.
So, you look at a guy like my dad. He wakes up, he kills himself at 6 o'clock every morning. What the hell are you training? Are you training for another triathlon? You haven't done an Ironman in years. And I tip my hat to him. I hope at his age I'm still training that hard every day.
He's always been that way, though, Dane. Your father always worked out. I mean, he's an animal.
He's the toughest, hardworking guy I've ever met in my life, and he's an inspiration. And I wouldn't be where I am today if it weren't for him. And he like, if I'm half the guy he is when I'm his age, I will be very successful.
You'll be in good shape.
I'll be in good. I will also be in very good shape as well. But no, he's a special guy. He's not musically talented. He's not a great singer. I don't know if he's a great dancer or actor, but boy, does he work. I'm sure he thinks his jokes are funny, which for the most part they are. But it's he is a hardworking individual, very, very hard. I mean, what he spun a phys ed degree from New Hampshire into his high up job at Nike.
Yeah.
It's incredible. So
well, you have a lot of his traits, by the way.
yes, I think yes. I would hope that. But yeah, I wish I had a little more of his discipline. I'm pretty disciplined, but not as much as him.
Yeah, that's another good word to describe him, is discipline. Yeah. I think I'm more like you in that regard. I'm not the most disciplined. I have a lot of discipline, but I'm not the most disciplined guy in the world.
I'm kind of a nexus between both of you a little bit.
It's probably I would agree with that. So, well, hey, on that, that'll be a wrap, and that'll be a wrap for Business Brains and the Bottom Line. Dane, thanks again for being on the show. Really enjoyed it. And best of
Thanks
luck.
for
You're going to
thank
be
you.
big someday. And Uncle Jeffrey and I want to be your bodyguards when you become really famous. We got a deal?
Uncle Jeffrey's skinny now. He doesn't even does he have any muscle left? I don't know what
Nah,
happened.
not really. Yeah, but we'll carry guns or something. We'll figure it out.
You can ride in the SUV with me when we
There
go
you
out to
go.
eat.
All right, that's a deal.